Good morning and happy Saturday, folks. I am Coach Ray. Thank you for joining me for today's Sick Mobility class. It's been a while. I missed you guys. Hope you guys are doing all right today. So, for today's class, I do have one long and one short stick with me, okay? So we are going to go through a full body class today. I just want to kind of focus on getting everything moving. We'll go through a new drill, a fun drill that I learned at the certification I just did, and we'll kind of work through that. So it's really going to work with the coiling system, working with the obliques and everything along that line here. I have a squat rack behind me. We are going to be using a squat rack as if it's a door frame. So we are going to be getting into some dumpy squats today. Kind of focus on a little bit on that pattern and some core. Everybody ready to get started? Yep. All right, let's do it. So we're going to start with the feet and ankles first. So I'm going to take a wide stance, a little wider than shoulder width here. I want my toes pointed forward, and I want to make sure all 5 toes are in contact with the floor here. I want the stick to be angled in towards me, but I'll actually turn to the side a bit. And what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to squat down a little bit, so allow my knees to track forward, keep my pelvis stacked under my spine, nice and tall, holding the stick at about roughly chest height. I'm going to bring both heels up. I don't want the level of my torso or my hips to change. And then I'm going to bring my heels back down, and I want to make sure they're hovering off the floor here. We're going to come back up. Good. Back down. Nice and slow. Keep a nice, good, tall posture. Up. Good. Back down. Let's go one more time. Up. We're going to hold that up position. I'm going to start to shift my right ankle in and out. So I'm going to shift my ankle outwards, away from my midline, and then I'm going to shift my right ankle inwards towards my center line. So now I'm on the big toe. Shift to the outer, on the pinky toe here, shift in, now I'm on the big toe. Shift out, good, and shift in. Back to neutral. Now we're going to do that with the left ankle. So shift that left ankle in and then shift out. Good. Shift in and shift out. Shift in. Excellent. Then shift out. Back to center. Down. Nice and slow. And ease off. Excellent. Now we're going to do here, we're going to work on the hips. We're going to be in a split position, or split stance position. So I'm going to go with my right foot forward, my left foot is going to be back. I'm not going to be in too big of a split here. I want the stick to be angled in towards me, so it's at the ball or the arch of my foot on my right foot here. Hands are stacked. I want to drop my hips down a little bit, so my right knee is stacked over my right ankle. Drive the stick down about 30% tension. And then I'm going to do a posterior tilt. And I'm going to squeeze that left glute. And then I'm going to do an anterior tilt. Good. Posterior tilt. Tuck that pelvis. Squeeze that left glute. Anterior tilt. Good. Posterior tilt. Anterior tilt. One more time. Posterior tilt. And anterior tilt. Back to center. Good. Now we're going to switch feet. So left foot is forward, right foot is back. Make sure that left knee is stacked over that left ankle. Drive the stick down. Posterior tilt. Feel that right glute squeeze. Good. Anterior tilt. Good. Posterior tilt. Squeeze a glute. Anterior tilt. Good. Posterior. Squeeze. Anterior tilt. Last one. Posterior tilt. And anterior tilt. Good. Ease off. Now we're going to switch to a split stance position here. So we're going to kind of do that same thing. Keep the feet as wide as you can comfortably handle. If you need to go in a little bit more narrow, then do so. So I'm going to lunge to my right, and I want the stick it's gonna be angled in towards me, kind of right in front of my right hip here. And I'm gonna do that same thing, posterior, anterior tilt. So I'm gonna do a posterior tilt first. You're gonna feel that left glute working real hard here. Now do an anterior tilt. Good, posterior tilt. Anterior tilt. Go 2 more, posterior tilt. Squeeze, anterior tilt. Last one, posterior and anterior. Now we're gonna switch over to the opposite side. So I'm gonna bring a stick over in front of that left hip. Same thing, drive the stick down, posterior tilt. Make sure you're keeping that right leg straight, anterior tilt. Posterior. Good, anterior. Posterior. Keep driving that stick down, anterior tilt. Last one, posterior tilt. Good, and anterior tilt. Back to center, and ease off. Excellent. Now we're gonna go to kayaking. This is kind of loosen up the shoulders. Then we'll start to get a little more specific here. So I'm gonna take the stick, grip at the ends with my fingertips here. I'm gonna take about roughly a shoulder width stance, feet are facing forward. Start with my right hand up, and I'm gonna drive that hand through, nice and slow. Really wanna feel those shoulder blades gliding along the rib cage here. Good. You wanna minimize spinal rotation as much as possible. So you want to feel like the stick is actually gliding along your body as we kayak here. Good. Speed up a little bit more. Breathe. Excellent. Switch directions. Breathe, keep it going. And 3, 2, 1, and relax. Excellent. We're gonna place the short stick down, and we're gonna get the long stick here. Now we're gonna start off with hip flexion, going into RDLs here. So again, we're just kind of priming some movements. So I'm gonna start with the stick on the right side of my body. I wanna have my feet together. I wanna have the stick roughly about a foot in front of the line of my toes, elbows bent at roughly about 90 degrees. From here, I wanna drive the stick down, create tension, and then I'm gonna bring my right knee up to about roughly level with the hips, and then I'm gonna drive that right foot back, drive the heel back, make sure we're keeping control of the rib cage. Now I'm gonna lift the stick, hover, hold, bring it back down, come up, staying all on that left leg stays grounded. So hinge, drive that right heel back, lift the stick. Good, place the stick down, come back up. Excellent, let's go one more time. Drive that right heel back, lift the stick, back down, and ease off. Let's go ahead and switch sides here. So we're gonna set up the same way. Drive that stick down into the floor, create that tension. Only about 30%. Keep that right foot grounded. Gonna bring that left hip up. Then I'm gonna drive that left heel back, hover the stick, place it down, come up, keep that right foot grounded, nice and strong, hinge, drive that heel back, up, place it down, come back up. Excellent. One more time. Drive that left heel back. hover. Good. Place it down, back up, and ease off. Nice. Relax. So now we're going to do here, we're going to get into hip abduction. What I want to do is I want to create a little bit of tension abducting the hip, and then I'm going to rotate at the hip. So the movement's going to be relatively small here. So feet together, I'm going to start out with the stick on my right side. I'm going to have my hand roughly about shoulder height. I'm going to drive the stick down. It's lined up with my midfoot here. I'm going to hover the right foot off the floor, keeping that left leg grounded nice and straight. I'm going to bring the outside of my right foot to the stick. I want to push against the stick about 30% tension. Notice my right foot's pointed forward. I'm going to rotate the hip. So now that foot is pointed outwards. Then I'm going to bring it back forward. Good. Rotate again. Excellent. Back forward. Movement's coming from the hip. Rotate the hip again. Back forward. Excellent. And then ease off. Come in. Now we're going to go into internal rotation while still abducting. So we're going full external, full internal here, at least as much as we can. So drive the stick down, about 30%, left leg straight, hover the right foot, bring it to the stick, externally rotate. Good, now we're pressing that foot back. Now we're gonna internally rotate that foot or the hip as much as we can. Externally rotate. Good, internally rotate. Excellent, one more time, externally rotate. And internally rotate. Back to center and ease off. Let's go in and switch sides. So now we're on the left side here. Same thing. Drive the stick down, hover the left foot, bring it to the stick here. Externally rotate that hip. Good. Back to center. Externally rotate. Good. Back to center. Last one. Externally rotate, back to center, and ease off. Good, take a second. Now we're gonna go full internal and external. Drive the stick down, hover the left foot, bring it to the stick, push against the stick, externally rotate. Good, remember movements come from the hip. Now internally rotate. Externally rotate, internally rotate. Excellent. Externally rotate. Internally rotate. Good. Back to center and ease off. Perfect. Now I'm going to take the stick, place it behind my back. I want to at mid-back here. So I'm going to take a split stance. Right foot's going to be forward, left leg's going to be back. And I want to make sure I'm in a good, strong position. So my split isn't too big, but I do want to keep my right foot or right knee over my right ankle here. So from here, I'm going to grip the stick with my elbows in, pull apart. So I'm going to get some extension here. Now I'm going to rotate to my right, pulling my left hand across towards my right side. Now I'm going to rotate to the left, pulling my right hand across towards my left side. So the hips don't move here. We're keeping those hips facing forward. Rotate to the right. Now left. Excellent. Right. And left. Back to center. Good, now we're gonna switch legs. So left leg forward, right leg back. We're gonna keep that knee stacked over the ankle. Pull apart, rotate to the left. Now to the right. Left. Right. Excellent. One more time each way. Left. And right. Good. Back to center and ease off. Perfect. Now this is where we're going to get into the Dumpy Squat. This is where we're going to need a squat rack or a door frame here. So what we want to do here is we want to think about a 5-second eccentric, 2-second pause, 2-second concentric. So 5 seconds down, 2-second pause at the bottom, 2 seconds coming up. So it's going to be a long repetition here. So you're going to have to stick. So take whatever squat stance is most comfortable for you. I typically tend to go a little wider than shoulder width, feet slightly angled out. You want the stick to be right in line with your center line here. Hands are going to be about roughly where belly button height is. Now from here, we're going to be generating about 70% tension. So from here, you want to first drive the stick up. You should feel those extensor muscles working. Make sure you're gripping the ground with your toes here. Now we're going to slowly push down. So remember, 5 seconds. So push down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. 1, 2. Then come up. 1, 2. All the way to the top. Good. And we're going to do that again. Keep that tension. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Pause at the bottom. 1, 2. Come up. Excellent. Keep pushing up. 70%. Back down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 1, 2. Back up. Good. There's 3. Let's go 2 more repetitions. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All the way down. 1, 2. Come up. Breathe. Excellent. Let's go one more time here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. 1, 2. Back up. And ease off. Excellent. Good. Okay. So now what we're going to do here, we're going to get into a little bit of rotational drill. It's going to be a little tricky to kind of go through. But what I want you to think about here is positioning your elbow and hip and bringing those together here. So this is where we're going to need something stable for us to press the stick into here. Now, the objective of this is to have what's called forward intent. So I need to move this out a little bit more. It's right about there. So I actually want to stand back a little bit from the stick here, and I'm going to stand square to the stick. Now from here, I want to have my hands stacked over one another, and I want to have my elbows kind of down a little bit. Now, what I want to do is I want to kind of lean forward into the stick a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my left elbow to my left hip and bring my hip up by driving my heel up. All right, so from here, I'm going to rotate the stick over to my left, bring that left elbow into my left hip and drive up. And I want to feel like I'm trying to compress a grape, something really, really small, create as much pressure from the hip to the elbow, and then I'm going to come back to center, and then I'm going to switch over to the right side here. So pressing forward, I'm going to laterally flex to my right, bringing my right elbow to my right hip and push up with that hip. You should be feeling the obliques engage here. And then I'm going to ease off, back to center. Now I'm going to go to the left again. So pushing the stick in, I want to laterally flex over to my left. Bring that left hip up. Drive that hip up into the elbow as hard as you can. Ease off. Now we're going to go to the right. Bring that right elbow to the right hip. Drive that hip up hard as you can. Good. Bring it back down. Let's go one more time each side. Laterally flex that left elbow to the left hip. Drive that hip up towards the elbow. Good, back to center. Now we're gonna laterally flex to the right. Bring that right elbow to the right hip. Compress. Drive up. Good, 3, 2, 1, and ease off. Perfect. Fun little drill there, something a little new. So now we're gonna go to a half kneeling position and we're gonna work on the reverse bow and arrow. So if you have a pad, something for you to kneel on, this is perfect for you to get it for. So I'm gonna have my right knee down, left leg is up. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna have the stick over towards my left side here. I'm gonna take my right hand, reach up over the top, grab the end of the stick here. So the stick is at a little bit of an angle here. Now my back foot is dorsiflex, so I'm pushing that big toe down into the floor here. Grab the stick, and I'm actually going to laterally flex, so I have to kind of get into a bowed position. From here, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna drive the stick down with both hands, and then I'm gonna pull my left hand in towards my left hip, hold, 3, 2, 1, ease off, good. Rotate the stick a bit. You wanna pull or create enough tension to where you do get a bow on the stick. So, drive the stick down with both hands, pull that left hand in. Yeah, right hand's gonna reflexively push up. 3, 2, 1, ease off. Excellent, rotate the stick again. You're gonna do that same thing. Right hand's up, drive the stick into the floor, pull that left hand in. 3, 2, 1, ease off. Good, now we're gonna switch sides. So we come over to this side. Now the right leg is up, left leg is down. You wanna try to keep from moving the hip too much. You wanna try to keep that hip as stationary as we can here. Left hand's up over the top. We're gonna drive the stick down, pull that right hand in. 3, 2, 1, good, ease off. Rotate the stick a bit. All right, drive both hands down. Pull that right hand in. 3, 2, 1, ease off. Rotate the stick. Let's go again. Drive the stick down. Pull that right elbow in to the right hip. Breathe. 3, 2, 1, ease off. Perfect. Now we're gonna go to a standing position. I'm gonna take this short stick here. Now, the short stick's gonna act kind of as a long stick. So I'm gonna have both feet in. Actually come to the side a little bit. The right stick is gonna be roughly at about 2 o'clock. Left stick's gonna be at 12. So from here, I wanna actually have a little bit of an angle out because I am gonna be moving the hip back and forth and then extending, moving the hip back and forth. So from here, hands are at the same height or as close to the same height as you can get them. Want to drive both sticks down into the floor, and I'm going to bring my right knee up here, and I'm going to hold. I'm going to bring the hip out to meet the right stick, keeping that knee externally rotated, pushing against the stick here. Then I'm going to bring it back forward, extend, bring it to the right stick, push, back forward, and down, ease off. Let's go 2 more here. So drive both sticks down. Right hip up. Good. Bring it to the right stick. Push. You should feel that left glute working here as well. Bring it back forward. Extend the knee. Bring it out. Push. Back forward. Good. And ease off. Gonna go one more time, then we're gonna switch sides here. Drop both sticks down. Right knee up. Bring it out. Push. Back forward. Extend. Bring it out. Bring it forward. Bend the knee. In. And ease off. Good. Now we're going to switch sides. So we actually don't need to switch sticks for this. Keep it exactly the same. So right stick's at 12, left stick is at 10 o'clock on this side. If you're pretty mobile, you can always widen it up. If you need to, you can always bring that left stick in a little closer so the range isn't as big. So from here, drop both sticks down, keep that right foot grounded, left hip up, bring it to the left stick, keep that knee out, push. Good, bring it back forward, extend, bring it out to the left stick, push, back forward, bend the knee, and ease off. Good, let's go two more here. Drop both sticks down, left knee up, bring it to the left stick, push back, push, 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 keep that knee out. Back forward, extend, bring it out, push. Good, bring it forward, knee in, and ease off. Good, let's get one more time here, folks. Drop both sticks down, left knee up, bring it to the left stick, push. Good, bring it forward, extend, bring it out, push. Good, back forward, and ease off. Excellent, good. All right, now we're gonna get into the deep fascial stretching. So now we're gonna start cooling down. We're gonna need the long stick for this one here. We're actually first gonna start off with the snake and reach. So this is gonna be pretty intense. So always stay away from ranges of pain, but also you can manipulate your range of motion as you need to. So I'm gonna start with my right knee down, which means my right hand is gonna be up top here. Now, my left foot, I'm gonna have it go out away from my midline and have the stick starting at that mid thigh here. Right hand is gonna go up, thumb facing down towards the floor. And I'm gonna snake my left shoulder through. Now, you want the stick under the scapula here. Now I'm gonna slowly walk my right hand up. Only go as high as you can. If you're finding that being here is a pretty big stretch, I would suggest you stay there. So from here, I'm gonna wrap my hand around like so. And then if this is not enough of a stretch, if I wanna increase that stretch, I'm gonna move the bottom of the stick more towards my center line, and I can adjust my foot as I need to. Now from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shift forward and back, forward and back. So from here, take a deep breath in, exhale, shift forward. You're gonna get an increased stretch on that pec. Then we're gonna come back. Good, we're gonna do that again, shift forward. Good, back off. Excellent, let's go shift forward one more time. Deep breath in, exhale. Good, shift back. I'm gonna slowly walk my right hand down, ease off. Now I'm gonna switch sides. So now, right leg is forward. Remember, leg is out away from the center line here. I'm gonna take my left hand up over the top, thumb facing down, snake that right shoulder through. Remember, get it under the scapula. Then we're gonna walk that left hand up. Good, so for me, I can get a little bit more of a stretch here. So I'm gonna bring that bottom of the stick across. And I'm gonna do that same thing. We're gonna do 3 repetitions. So deep breath in. Exhale, shift forward. Ease off. We're gonna do 2 more. Deep breath in. Shift forward. Good. I'm gonna ease off a bit. Let's go again. Deep breath in. Shift forward. Good. Ease off. Walk that left hand down nice and slow. And slowly come out of it here. Good. Excellent. Now we're going to get into the slap shot. Really want to loosen up the spine, the adductors a bit here. So I'm going to take the stick, place it behind my mid-back. And I'm going to have a stance. This is always going to depend on your mobility. So if you're really mobile, again, you can go as wide as you'd like. So from here, I like to have my feet angled out a bit. Sticks behind my mid-back. I'm going to first hinge. So drive my hips back, soft knees. So let's get a stretch in those hamstrings a little bit here. I'm going to take the right end of the stick, place it down in line with my center line here. Now I'm going to pull the stick apart, only about 15 to 20% tension, just to create some tension in the upper back. And now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to shift to my right, driving my hips back. Now shift over to my left. Good. Back to center. Then we'll come back to neutral. Now I'm going to rotate the left end down, place it, pull apart. Good. Lunge to my left, driving off that right foot. Now lunge to my right, driving off that left foot here. Good. Back to center, back to neutral. Now we're going to get further across if we can. Bring the right end of the stick down, further across your midline if you can manage. Pull the stick apart, lunge to the right. Now we're going to let go with the right hand, reach across towards our left. Good. Place it back on the stick. Lunge to the left here. Good. Let go with the right hand, reach to the right. Place it back on, back to center. Good. Back to neutral. Now we're going to do the left side. Bring the left end across, place it down, pull apart, lunge to the left. Let go with the left hand, reach to the right. Excellent. Place it back on the stick. Lunge to the right. Let go with the left hand. Reach toward the left. Excellent. Place it back on. Back to center. Back to neutral. Stand up. Squeeze those glutes. Wiggle those feet in. Now we're going to get into opening up the thoracic spine in terms of extension and a little bit more rotation. So I'm going to take the other stick. So since this is a shorter stick, you want to make sure your hands are about level. So I'm grabbing a long stick the same height as I'm at the top of the stick on my short stick. So from here, take about a roughly shoulder width stance. Feet are facing forward. I want the bottoms of the sticks almost about a foot in front of the line of my toes here. Now from here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure I got a good grip on the stick. Arms stay straight. I'm going to start to hinge. So I'm going to drive my hips back, reaching out with my hands. You should be feeling a stretch in that T-spine here. Breathe. We're going to come back up. Excellent. Now we're going to add in rotations here. So I'll actually turn forward. You're going to do that same thing. However, when we rotate, we want to make sure the head clears so we can get both sticks across. So from here, hinge back, reach those hands out. Now I'm going to start by rotating to my right. So I'm going to clear my head, rotate both sticks across to my right, and I'm going to drop that shoulder down towards the floor. So my left shoulder is now going down towards the floor. Good. I'm going to come back. Now I'm going to rotate to the left. Make sure my head clears. Both sticks come across. Drop that right shoulder down towards the floor. Good. Back to center. Stand up. Ease off. We're going to do that again. So, arms straight. Drive those hips back. Clear the head. Rotate to the right. Drop that left shoulder down towards the floor. Now with the right arm, pull that shoulder back a bit more. Reach out with the left. So now you get more rotation. Come back to center. Now we're going to rotate to the left. Rotate both sticks to the left. Good. Pull that left shoulder back. Reach out with the right. Get more rotation here. It's okay if the arms bend a little bit. Back to center. And come back up. And ease off. I'm going to place the long stick down. Now we're going to focus on the shoulders a little bit more, also the neck. So we're going to go through some dislocates first, and then we're going to get into stretching out the neck tissues here. So I'm going to take the stick. I'm going to grip it with my thumbs or my hands facing in towards me here. Feet are going to be roughly about hip to shoulder width apart, whatever's most comfortable. We want to make sure you squeeze the glutes here to make sure the hips stay in extension, or we're not using our low back as we do this here. So from here, arms straight, pull the stick apart, roughly about 15 to 20% tension, and then I'm going to slowly bring the stick up overhead. If you can go all the way back, do so. If you can't, don't. All right? Breathe. Then I'm going to come back up. Still pulling apart on the stick. Excellent. Good. Let's go a few more here. Keep pulling the stick apart. Lightly. Come up. All the way over. Good. Good. Let's keep going. I'm going to turn to the side here. Come up. Nice and slow. You don't want your low back moving at all. This is why we squeeze the glutes, folks. Good. Let's go one more time here. Keep pulling apart, arms straight. Excellent. Back up and over. And ease off. Perfect. Now we're going to take the stick, we're going to place it behind our back. Now, I want my palms facing away from the front side of my body, so palms are facing towards the posterior aspect of my body here. Now it's important that we make sure we're in a good, strong position, so pelvis is tucked in a little bit, core is engaged. Now from here, what we want to do is we want to pull the stick apart lightly. Well, again, about 15 to 20% tension. And then I'm going to drive the stick down towards the floor here. This is going to set my shoulders down. From here, I'm going to pull my chin back. I can try and create a double chin. Now I'm going to tilt my right ear towards my right shoulder. As I do that, I want to drive that left shoulder down even harder to further lengthen that left side here. Breathe. Come back up to neutral. Now tilt to the opposite side. Bring that left ear toward the left shoulder. Drive that right shoulder down. Really lengthen that side here. Keep pulling the stick apart. Back to neutral. Now we're going to tilt our chin up towards the ceiling, up and back. Rotate to your left. Now to your right. Back to center and down. Keep that chin back. Now tuck your chin down towards your chest. You're probably going to be feeling a little bit of a stretch in those mid and lower traps here. Now rotate to your left. Rotate your chin towards your left shoulder. Good. Now rotate it towards your right. Good. Back to center and ease off. Good. I'm going to flip my hands. So now that my palms are facing towards the front of my body, my shoulders are externally rotated here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into shoulder extension, and then I'm going to further stretch out the neck tissues by tilting my chin and head away from both sides. So palms are facing towards the front of my body here. I'm going to lightly pull the stick apart, basically with thumbs facing away from one another, and then I'm going to pull the stick back. Now from here, keeping my chin back, I'm going to tilt my chin over my right shoulder. Bring it back down. Now I'm going to tilt it over my left shoulder. Good. Back down and ease off. Excellent. Just want to finish off with the bow and arrow. So I'm going to get a long stick here, and I'm going to take about a hip width stance, feet are facing forward. I'm going to have the stick in closer towards me so I can get a bigger stretch and create more tension here, further lengthening that lateral line. So stick is right by my midfoot here. My left hand is roughly about somewhere between rib cage and waist height. Take my right hand up over the top, thumb facing down. I'm going to drive my hips away. Then I'm going to extend those hands out. 3, 2, 1. Slowly come back in. Excellent. Rotate the stick a bit. Drive the hips away. Extend those hands out. You get a pretty big stretch on our lateral line here. 3, 2, 1. Ease off. Nice and slow. Now we're going to switch sides. Stick is in. Left hand up over the top, thumb facing down towards the floor. Drive the hips away. Extend those hands out. Good. And nice and slow. Rotate the stick a bit. Same thing. Drive the hips away. Extend those hands out. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Ease off and relax. And that, my friends, concludes today's stick mobility class. Thank you, everybody, for joining me for today's class. Hope everybody had a good class. Feels good to be back, and I will be sure to catch y'all next week. Happy Saturday, and stay safe out there, folks.